Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we've got Astebreed. Originally released on the PC back in late 2013 by the Dojin Soft group Edelweiss, and recently ported to the PlayStation 4 by Playism. So this is a title that I've actually been aware of for quite some time. In fact, I actually picked up the PC version on the Steam sale. It must have been almost at least half a year ago, might have even been a full year ago. But I never got around to going and playing it, and after going and having played the PlayStation 4 port, I'm kind of glad that I actually waited, because the control scheme that they went and came up for the PlayStation 4 version, I think, really goes and works. And I'll explain more on that when I go and actually get to the video itself. But anyway, that said, what kind of taste will this one have? Let's get cooking and find out. Astebreed. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to take a quick look at options in the gallery, because I think there's actually some great stuff going on here. So the options themselves are actually relatively simplistic. Since it's a Japanese game, you can go and have the language in Japanese or English, audio setup, control setup, nothing like too revolutionary there. But the gallery, we got some interesting stuff in here. So there's leaderboards, you can look at your play data. Then you've got all the extras, which you'll unlock through the course of going and playing and clearing the game. You've got some great world building going on here. Edelweiss went and took a lot of time going and putting in and going and creating this world that they went and placed this game in. So you've got these relatively detailed character bios of these the characters that are present in the game. Quite a bit about the military, both the military equipment and the state of the military as a whole. Geography, others. There's also like a timeline, so you can kind of go and get an idea of what's going on. It goes and covers all the way back to like the colonization of Mars in this game, demo scenes, artwork, the great mecha models go and like have a look at once you've gone and cleared the game. I believe that unlocks on normal, either that or your second clear. Backgrounds, anyway, just a lot of great stuff that just goes and shows the amount of detail and world building that they did go and put into this title. Something that I just go and feel is really awesome and excellent about it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. There's a couple different modes here. There's the original mode, which is the PC version. As I went and noted, I'm kind of happy that I went and waited to go and play it on the PlayStation 4, because in the arranged mode, they've gone and readjusted the controls, and I go and feel, after having spent a little bit of time with the original mode, that it's just so much better. So that's obviously what we're going to go with today. As far as this here, we have a couple options. When you go and fire up the game for the first time, the prologue automatically plays by default, so you don't have to worry about going and playing that later unless you really want to go and revisit it. Tutorials and chapter select opens up once you've gone and cleared the game on least easy, and then start. So here we can go and select our difficulty. Easy, normal, and hard are what I've had unlocked at this point. I honestly don't know if there's a difficulty past hard, since I haven't gone and cleared the hard mode yet. Player select, you've got the crossbreed and Astebreed. Like that'll go and kind of make sense, and once you go and play through the story, the difference between those two. We're going to go ahead and go with the crossbreed for now. Dialogue, there's two options, normal and result only. So, normal dialogue means that the background dialogue between the characters in the game will go and flow through the entire course of the game. Results only means the dialogue's only played at the results screen. Going and having tried both, I definitely feel normal is better. There's just all these points where it's just kind of like there's just dead air and not really much going on if you go and have it set to results only. Then, of course, score, ranking, that's all like awesome stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So here's a perfect part of what I'm going and saying about the whole like dialogue things. So if you don't have the dialogue set to results only, this part here, all you've got are just your sound effects and the music going and playing. There's not actually any of this dialogue going and happening, and it just feels kind of awkward, I guess is a good way to go and put it. So first off, I want to go and say mecha design in this game, love it. It's absolutely beautiful. Both your mecha, your fleet's battleships in the background, and of course the enemy mecha. So we're going to go and start by going and covering what kind of attacks we go and have with the crossbreed here, which will go and like later get upgraded to the Astebreed, but you know, a little bit of a spoiler there. Hopefully it's not too bad. So we go and start off with, well, you have all your weaponry available like the entire time, but you've got this Vulcan cannon that I'm going and using right now, which I actually don't use for much of the game. I figured I'd just go and use it for the start. Then there's our sword, which is my preferred attack. It goes and deals some great damage. And you also have homing attacks, which there are a couple of different ways that those can set up. You can go and use this awesome wide range field that you can deploy around you to go and lock onto enemies. It does lock on slower though, so you don't go and get as many missile hits as it were on the enemies. One thing that's neat about the lock on as well is once you've gone and released your lock and it goes and fires your missiles, the Lucis system as it were, it actually goes and slows down the enemies and what you've gone and locked on. So that's definitely a neat feature. So the lock on, there's two different ways we can go and lock on to enemies. There's this sphere that we can go and deploy around us, and there's also this narrow field. The narrow field lock on actually goes and locks on faster and goes and deploys more missile locks to an enemy, which is really great against like bosses and enemies with high HP. That's also one of the biggest differences between the PlayStation 4 and the PC version. In the PC version, you had to go and press the button and move in the direction you wanted to lock on to go and actually lock onto. So it was awkward that way. Whereas with the PlayStation 4, you're controlling it with the right stick, so you actually have a lot more freedom of range with excuse me, your lock on there. So in addition to our cannon shot, our sword attack, and I'm being nice and reckless here, and our lock-on, we also go and have an EX, or an extra EX attack, however you want to go and say that, which has several different styles of usage depending on how many lock-ons we go and have, or if we hold down the button. So we don't have any lock-on at all. It goes and kind of deploys in a wide arc around the crossbreed, going and dealing some decent damage to the enemies around, and also goes and gives you momentary invulnerability after going and using it. Then once used, there's a little yellow bar that will go and appear below our mech that goes and indicates the recharging of that. You can go and recharge it faster by going and destroying enemy shots with the blade or with the Vulcan. Vulcan can go and take out purple shots, and the sword can take out purple and yellow shots. We can't do anything about the red, these ones here. You just had to dodge those. Then the other modes for the EX attack is we go and have lock-ons, and you just go and tap it. It'll go and do a dash attack between all your lock-ons, and you'll go and essentially use a sword dash, which you can go and kind of do without, like so. The awesome way to actually dodge out of projectiles' ways. Or if you go and get a full lock-on against a boss or something like that in particular, you can go and unlock the most powerful form of the attack, of the EX attack. Oh, I guess, no, I failed to go and finish off the boss with it. I was hoping to, but it didn't quite happen. Where You go and kind of like dash in on the boss, and just it's like all these dashing like slices. It's really awesome to go and watch. So we're finished with the first stage now. So one of the interesting things that Astebreed goes and does is the game is constantly flowing. Once you've gone and finished the boss, it goes into the results screens as well as a between stage cutscene, but it never goes and takes any time to go and load, and the game is going constantly flowing. So as we're seeing here, we're going and getting this cutscene, which will go and bridge immediately right into stage 2. The flow is definitely one of those things that I really like about this title. So in this flow, we're kind of going in and basically like in a subspace warp, going between the planet Mars and the alien forces that were trying to go and defeat their mobile planet, as it were. See if we can take out this enemy mech pretty fast. Using a combination of homing, EX attacks, and like blades. Let's see. Almost got it. Got it. Yep. So throughout the entire course of the game, there is the dialogue that is going and running in the background. It goes and adds a lot to it. But one thing I did have a slight issue with it is there is a dialogue constantly, and it's at the bottom in a somewhat smallish font, so it can be a little bit hard to go and read at times. Minor complaint, but that's like not too big of a deal. Definitely not a deal breaker in my mind, at least. So, we're at kind of an interesting intermediate phase of this particular stage, where we've actually been thrown out of the subspace corridor, and we're having to go and get back in there, but all these interesting arachnid enemies trying to go and take us out. So, I mentioned that I don't really use the Vulcan cannon much with the crossbreed, and part of the reason for that is it's not actually possible to go and aim it in the way that it is to go and aim your homing, where you have that 360 degree of, or I guess not degree, but the 360 range of attack around you, and with your sword, you know, you just go and get up close with the enemy, and you can go and fight them that way. With the Vulcan, it's always just kind of centered in front of your ship, whichever direction you happen to go and be facing. And sometimes you don't have, you don't really have control over that, so it doesn't make it as effective as the other means of attacking are concerned. So that, and really with 3 different ways to go and attack the enemy, truth be told, I find it a little bit overwhelming, and I kind of just end up focusing on like 1 or 2 different styles of attack. Since I go and prefer the lock-on and the blade, that's what I go and end up using. And, well, let's be honest, mech with a sword, it's like you gotta go and fight close range. That's just the way that it has to be. So we just about have the stage 2 boss taken out. Can't quite see the end of his life bar, it's actually off the side of the screen. Oh, there it is. And finish it with style. Alright, that is the end of Stage 2, Chapter 2, I guess as the game goes and refers to it. So, Astebreed is definitely one of those titles where, if you're interested in the 2.5D shoot 'em up, essentially it's like a horizontal shooter for the most part. I would definitely go and recommend going and checking this one out. It goes and just flows together so well. The combat is really fun in it. So I can go and call it Mortal Kombat since it goes and has the whole sword aspect and everything. And I enjoy the world building, and just the visuals also are strikingly beautiful on this one. So definitely, if you're interested in it, check out Astebreed. That'll just about wrap me up for Shoot 'em Up Saturday this week. As always, if you don't have any shoot 'em ups you'd like to go and recommend that I go and check out, please leave those in the comments below. I'd love to go and see if there's anything out there that you guys would like me to go and feature on the channel. And once again, thank you so much for coming out and joining me for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and I hope to go and see you again next week.